Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय।
Hare Krishna, Pranam. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Krishna. Srimati Jai Bhagavad Swami Namo Vrindayo Tulsi Devoy Priyayo Kesavacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Sattvatai Shri Krishna Priyasi Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prabhupada ki Jai Om Shripada Paramahansa Prabhupada Ashtotra Sutri Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमाय सुदर्शन की गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असम्बल्ड हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असम्बल्ड हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असम्बल्ड हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू गुरु एंड गौरंग ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रील प्रभुपाद की हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna. So now we have a Bhagavad Gita class by Grace Sanatana Nitai Prabhu. So I request everyone, kindly make your mobile phone either silent or switch off so that it will not disturb the class. Kindly take down your mobile now, make it silent. It will disturb the class. Hare Krishna.
In between chapter 9, sloka 32 and 33. Okay. Repeat after me. Mam hi partha vipasya epi suyaha papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Te Yanti Param Gatim Mami Partha Vipasya Epi Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim Mami Partha Vipasya Surya Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim Mami Partha Vipasya Surya Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim Mami Partha Vipasya Surya Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim
Mami Partha Vipasya Epi Shrupa Payoneyaha Yo Vaishya Sudra Epi Yanti Param Gatim
Mami Partha Vipasya Epi Surya Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim Mami Partha Vipasya Epi Surya Papayoneha Priyo Vaishya Tata Sudra Yanti Param Gatim. Meaning, Mam me, he, certainly, Partha, the son of the Lord, Vipasritya, particularly taken shelter, ye, those who, api, also, who are Papa Yonayaha, born of lower family, Striya, women, Vaishya, mercantile people, Tata, also, Shudraha, lower class men, Te api, even they, Yanti, go, Param, to the supreme, Gatan, destination. Translation of Prabhupada Prabhupada. To son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be born of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Purport. It is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in devotional service, there is no distinction between the lower and higher classes of people. In the material conception of life, there are such divisions, but for person engaged in transcendental devotional service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called Chandalas, dog eaters, can be purified by association with a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of people. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the modes of goodness, brahmanas, the modes of passion, kshatriyas or administrators, the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, vaishyas or merchants, and the mode of ignorance, shudras or workers. Those lower than them are called chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. Generally, the association of those born in sinful families is not accepted by the higher classes. But the process of devotional service is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all the lower classes to attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna, as indicated here by the word Prasashritya. One has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become much greater than great jnanis and yogis. We'll read the next sloka as well. We'll finish the sloka translation proper, and then we can discuss this. Kim punar brahmana punya. Kim punar brahmana punya. Bhakta rajya vishayastata. Anityam asukha lokam. Imam prapya vajasvama. Translation. How much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly ones. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto God. In this material world, there are classifications of people, but after all, this world is not a happy place for anyone. It is clearly stated here, Anityam Asukam Lokam. This world is temporary and full of miseries, not habitable for any sane gentleman. This world is declared by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be temporary and full of miseries. Some philosophers, the Mayavadi philosophers, say that this world is false. But we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that the world is not false, it is temporary. This world is temporary, but the other world is eternal and blissful. Arjuna was born in a saintly royal family. To him also the Lord says, take to devotional service and come quickly back to Godhead. Back home, no one should remain in this temporary world full as it is with miseries. Everyone should attach himself to the bosom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that he can be eternally happy. The devotional service of the Supreme Lord is the only process by which all problems of all classes of men can be solved. Everyone should therefore take to Krishna consciousness and make his life perfect. Hare Krishna. nice and strong verses and purport. So let's take a quick discussion of this. Before that, you can do the invocation prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalika Shri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nama om vishnu padaya krishna preshtaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for this Sunday evening class. It's nice to be back here after some time. Someone told me that I should come more often in a very cryptic way. Okay, so last class, Aprajit Prabhu was speaking. So in that one, we heard this Name Bhakta Pranashyati, correct? That's what we discussed elaborately. So what did Krishna promise Arjuna? What is Krishna telling Arjuna? One simple word. How many of you did not attend last week? You didn't attend? Okay. Someone who can tell? So many people attended. What did we conclude? Name Bhakta Pranashyati is what? My devotees never perish. And so he tells Arjuna, boldly declare, my devotees do not perish. So in today's two shlokas, Krishna is continuing the mood of saying, the bhaktas or the path of bhakti is extremely glorious. Okay, whatever path of life that you have chosen, do not fear. The path of bhakti is very clear. Okay, in Shastras, there are many examples where there is this concept of do not fear. Okay, mostly what happens when we are taking to spiritual life or we are not taking to spiritual life, in either cases, the concept of Hare Krishna, better? Okay. In either cases, the concept of fear is always existing. Okay, so in material life, padam yat vipadam. Every step there is some kind of a fear. Okay, but if you look at Shastric examples, kathas that we have heard, let's take an example of Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, Prahlad Maharaj at every point in time when he was tortured by his father, one thing was consistent, that he knew if Krishna willing, then no one can save me. If Krishna decides to save me, then nothing can happen to me. Correct? That is complete confidence, complete zero fear. Are we in that position yet? No, we are not in that position, even after hearing last class. Correct? No, but Krishna says, do not fear. Literally, that's the message, right? Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Then there is no way my devotee will perish. So it is about telling that the fear will happen because we either do not consider ourselves as devotees or we do not consider Krishna can protect us. This one is, it can look funny, but it's not fun. We always have this problem that I'm not fully surrendered. The amount of surrender that I have is the amount that Krishna will reciprocate with me. We always have this concept. I think in the previous time when I was speaking also we discussed this. Is Krishna partial or impartial? Anyone remembers what we discussed? Partially impartial. is partial to his pure devotees. Is that correct? Okay, then by the example of the rain will come in the ocean and also in the fertile land. Krishna is partial or impartial? The answer is Krishna is reciprocal. He will reciprocate to your bhava. The mood, the bhava in which you act with him, the reciprocation comes from. And that one is millions of times greater than what we can take. That's a different concept. But how much you can open your mind to Krishna, to his devotees, is the amount of reciprocation that you give, that you get. And that is what will give you this confidence of not having fear. Confidence is actually the right word. Okay, because if you take the example of Draupadi, she was holding on to her sari. Until she was holding on to that sari, Krishna was waiting. You can decide who wants to protect you. You want to go to Bhishma Dev, you want to go to Duryodhana's father, Dhritarashtra, you want to talk about the Pancha Pandavas, figure out who can protect you. The moment she said, "Oh, Krishna, save me," he was right there. And that is the transition that will happen in us, saying at some point in time, we will know there is nothing here, no one here who can protect us, and Krishna, it's only you who can protect us. And that is the glorification of it. It is because we understand it's not by my own effort that I can be successful. It is purely Krishna's mercy. Okay. With this background, let's actually continue with today's discussion. What I would like to know is, how many of you here like philosophy? How many of you like pastimes? So let's go with this. How many of you like to hear pastimes more than philosophy? Okay, and how many of you really like to hear philosophy and no katha? Okay, nice problem. More philosophy. That's nice problem. So it's good to have. Okay. So do you think in material world there is discrimination? Very much. Okay. Are we trying to solve it? We cannot solve it, or we are trying to solve it. We are trying to solve it. We keep trying to solve it. You know, why is Ambedkar so famous, or why is today's the so-called feminism so famous? Right? I mean, we are trying to solve, saying that there is a discrimination here. Let's try to solve it. Will we be able to solve it? So, I mean, I was hearing this in a nice class when we were discussing. So, I'll probably conclude it, and then we can go on to further discussion. When we talk about equality, in bodily platform, equality is a myth. You can talk about whoever it is. You can talk about communists. You can talk about capitalists. Someone, whoever is in the power, will try to favor someone else. There is no concept of being equal to everyone. That the very existence of equality on a material platform just doesn't exist. It's a utopian idea. The concept itself is utopian. There are probably people that we admire, like wonderful poets or leaders who have propagated it so much that there will be equality. There can be equality. You just next step is your equality. Frankly, no. We have not achieved. We will never achieve that. Equality on a material platform does not exist. Rest of it we will probably discuss a little later. Now let's go back to our initial shloka. So let's talk about birth. Okay, simple question. Do you think birth is important? The classification based on birth is important? No. The young boy says no. Anyone here who says that based on birth classification is important? No one? Really? I'm surprised. But that's how we classify today. Probably my question was triggering an answer that needs to be a no. But the answer is yes. Birth automatically gives certain qualities because of the family, because of the culture. We are all very, very fortunate. Why do we tell that taking birth in India is glorious? We tell that, right? You're culturally connected. So many of us sitting here because our parents have given something which is, favorable. What are we trying to give our kids? Even if we remove Krishna consciousness outside for some time, we give certain culture to our kids. Birth is extremely important. Our family, our culture, our traditions, these are all there. So distinguishing based on birth is a valid principle, even today. It was done extremely rigidly in the previous yugas. And that is where probably in the last few decades, I will not probably tell a century also, few decades, there have been people who have misused this concept of saying that, okay, birth should not be valid at all. There is a certain validity. I'll probably, if there are questions, we can take it up later. It's valid, but it's not everything. Okay, what does our birth give you? It gives you the provision. It's like getting admission to a medical college. It'll give you the provision of becoming a doctor. The rest of it are your samskaras. The samskaras will automatically give you that culture to a certain extent. When the child is born to a certain age, we actually enable them with that culture. After that, what happens? It is the free will of that kid, how he takes association. Today's education system, I think we keep hearing from someone like Adidev Prabhu or others that were into education a lot. What do they tell? Today's education system is meant for what? Creating laborers. Creating laborers, literally creating laborers, right? So how do you better work for someone else? Now, whatever you want to call it, you want to call it Shudra. The word sounds bad today because of the misuse that it's done, but that's actually our today's education. But Gurukul education is not that. Gurukul education was to create Brahmanas, create Vipras, basically, not Brahmanas. So we'll actually look at the shlokas also. Okay. In Kali Yuga, by birth, what are we? By birth, we always say we are Shudras. Correct. We say that not necessarily by birth we are Shudras, but we do not have any culture in us. That's the whole thing. We are not culturally there. Janma Jayate Shudraha. Everyone is born uncultured. Then what? Samskara, the Vajit, Dvijaha. By samskaras, you become twice born, or you become a Dvija. Okay. This word Dvija is also a little misused. Probably we'll touch upon it if there is time. Veda Patat Bhaved Vipraha. Veda Patat Bhaved Vipraha. What's a Vipra?
Knowledge.
A person in knowledge, not necessarily a Brahmana. A person who is educated is called a Vipra. Veda Patat Bhaved Vipraha. Theoretical knowledge he has got. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. Correct, everyone knows this. Last one is quite popular. So this is the flow. So we are all born uncultured. With samskaras, we get certain culture. With education, with knowledge, we get theoretical understanding of the whole cosmos, of the absolute truth, and also the material situation. And if you understand the Supreme Lord, you become a qualified Brahmana. Here, Brahmana is someone who is very dear to the Lord. This is the flow. Now, where do we fit in here? We should fit in somewhere, right? Where do we fit in here? Brahmajanati Brahmana? Born uncultured, will stay uncultured. Okay. In Kali Yuga, we understand that we are all born a little uncultured. Our material education makes us a little more uncultured. Right. So, why I say that is because we are all educated to a certain extent, some better than others. But whatever has been our education, we have understood that it's very nice that we earn money, we live a happy life. We not live a happy life. We try to live a happy life. This is what is our whole goal of life. Whoever you ask, even probably 15 years before, when I did not come into KC, I had my goals very clear. Okay, one world trip, one farmhouse by the time I retire. Clear? No, I think many of you would have had, probably not in the same language. Okay, probably Naveen Prabhu can vouch for it, right? So you would have had your dreams when you came back or when you went to the US. There's a certain dream that all of us carried. When we come into something like a spiritual education, suddenly it looks like that we are trying to balance between our material life and spiritual life. How many of you have had this problem that I'm not able to balance, or I'm trying to balance, right? Most of us. I would probably tell them, because I try to get my next promotion in office, my KC will drop. And I continue to do what I'm trying to do and trying to improve here. At office, they'll feel that this guy is not going to give me a lot of productivity. His utilization is low. He's not going to work on weekends. And he's going to discriminate people. If he actually hears such classes, he'll tell, okay, this guy is going to discriminate between who is educated, who is not educated spiritually, right? So people will tag us. So we are worried what will be our tagging in our material life and trying to balance our spiritual life. Now, Krishna in the previous shloka tells, do not fear. And in this shloka, he tells what? They will achieve Param Gatim, the supreme destination. So who all will achieve? Okay, let's actually look at that. So just going back to the purport. It is clearly declared here that the Supreme Lord, by the Supreme Lord, the devotional service, there is no distinction between lower and higher class. Okay, so how many of you like to do devotional service and like to pick what is the devotional service that you like to do. So all of us have certain devotional service that you're probably good at, right? And many a times we like to probably do that. Okay, like someone is good at book distribution, someone is good at kirtan, someone is good at very good cooking for the Lord, someone can dress the Lord very nicely, kirtans of course, right? If given a choice between the service that you like to do and a service that is required to do, what will you pick? Which is obvious answer, right? Even though we want to tell I should take whatever is given to me, you probably take the service that you would like to do. Okay, and the humility comes when the service that you like to do is available, but there is another service that is required to do. Correct? That's where we actually probably have that choice, saying that maybe if I do this service, I may not be good at it. People may not recognize. So we are still worried about our name, fame, whatever is going to come with it. Right? But if we can take up that service, what are we doing? We are pleasing the person who has given us that service. And that person is representative of the Lord. For me, that's all. Anyone who gives me a service to do, if that person is giving me a service, then I have to do it because he believes in me and he is representing my spiritual master, or he's representing the Lord. And it is easy to tell. It's very easy to tell, very difficult to follow. Correct, it's difficult to follow. Someone tells that wait for prasad, you serve everyone else and then have prasad, and you're hungry, you know that I should probably have my prasad first. And this is easy example. There are tougher examples. Like yesterday when I saw Saravanan Prabhu message saying that how many of you want to come for book distribution, I was thinking, I want to go, but Yugadi is at home. My parents will question. Right? I mean, I don't know how many of you thought that way, right? So if I spend that 4 hours at home celebrating Yugadi, rest of my weekend can be for the Lord. What did I give? I gave myself a valid excuse spiritually saying that I cannot do this service. Someone else did, they did wonderful job. But always we are wonderful because we know what is the best excuse that we can give to not do a certain service. You agree? It's very difficult to convince others, but for me, I can give best excuses. And then when I sit and think, oh, did I actually do it right? The answer is not true. I want to convince myself that I was good. I'm really good. But the fact is, there is at every step, there is an opportunity for us to decide if we are good or not good. And that's the whole situation, right? We can take many examples. Like for today, when we are talking about equality by birth and all that, we can definitely not get away from discussing the pastime of Haridas Thakur. Probably not going to detail, but I'm sure most of you know. Haridas Thakur's birth was in an Islamic religion. He took up Krishna consciousness. So basically, he took up Harinam chanting. These are the owner of Harinam for us, right? Namacharya. So Haridas Thakur took this up. What did the people of his religion do? They boycotted him. Did the so-called Hindus accept him? No. So he was in a situation where no one wanted him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, "You're so fortunate. Because no one wants you, you want the Lord, Lord will want you." Right? It's a simple situation. You don't need to worry about what you have. All you're doing is, so he told, you are the Namacharya. The rest of the generations to follow, every day during our, Jayadhwani, we always tell Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, teacher. Right? That is the position. The Lord will decide what is the position he has to give you. Right? Your birth, your equality doesn't play a big role. Now, let's talk about a very, sensitive topic, because Prabhupada actually mentioned this in his translation to another shloka, somewhere in Bhagavatam, and also in the lecture for this shloka. Okay, sensitive, but it's important that we understand this concept. Today, when we talk about women from a spiritual angle, we always say that, okay, Prabhupada mentioned women are not very intelligent. How many of you have heard this? Or rather, how many of you have not heard this? Right? And many times it becomes very difficult to actually discuss this topic. And for me, it is important that we understand their position. We understand the position of Srila Prabhupada. And one thing that probably the only thing that I have understood in spiritual life so far is that Prabhupada is not wrong. Let's not argue on that. Okay? And we should always understand what our acharyas say with a connection to what is the time, place, circumstance there, in understanding of what the shloka or translation means, in understanding of what has been the flow. Do not take statements individually and try to tell that this was right or wrong. Many a times we might get it wrong. Okay, there was this example recently that was mentioned that a small child was told from his birth, he was told that a chair is used for what? Sitting, right? He's not seen a chair. Chair is used for sitting. One day, one person comes and tells him that today I changed my bulb using a chair. What is the understanding of the child? This person is faking. Correct. He's not understood. So many times our situation is that we do not understand the entire picture. We have understood. See, many times we do not have realized knowledge. If someone has got, then great, but I do not have. So many times I understand as it is, and that helps me stay grounded, saying that okay, this is what is to my understanding today, right? So this statement that women. So today, when we talk about feminism, what are we trying to achieve? Men and women are equal. Correct. Agreed. I mean, you can voice. You can probably talk because it's important to understand this concept. Right? So when we tell men and women are equal, what are we comparing men and women with? What are we comparing the women to be equal with? With the labor class. Correct? We are basically comparing them with the Vijabandhus and the Shudras or the labor class. We are not comparing this. How many of you can tell that, okay, I can compare any woman in our society with our Guru Maharaj? We are not going to compare them with with people like Guru Maharaj or the saints, or compare them with Arjuna or the warriors. We are keeping them aside. Today, our comparison is all with they can work, I can also work. And the fact is true. It's not wrong because men today are in the form of Vijabandhus and below. Many themselves are not qualified, other than, of course, exceptions are there. But generally, when we see, the comparison is obvious, and feminism is not wrong in that. But it's fake when you look at from a spiritual perspective. Because women are meant for certain purposes to please the Lord. They're created that way. They created that way. And men are created in a certain way. It could be bodily features, it could be the intelligence level, it could be working knowledge, whatever it is. It is the kind of activity that they do. Okay, so that's why this difference comes. And here in the shloka, we are talking about Vijabandhus and Shudras and women. Are they equal? We are telling that they also have a chance of attaining the Paramgati. What is it? What they have to do? Mami Partha? Vyapashruti. Vyapashruti means surrender. That's all. So there is no distinction from a spiritual angle. So we will get this very clearly understood, right? So we said from material concept, equality is a myth or a utopian concept. From a spiritual angle, it's very simple, right? On a spiritual platform, there is obvious equality, right? There is enough glories for bhaktas who are in any form of body, right? It need not be a man, woman, it can probably be even an animal or whatever it is. Okay. From the Shastric examples, if you look, there are wonderful devotees who please the Lord in a woman body or a man body. It could be who is that lady, Shabari? It could be Vidura's wife, Vidurani. They are wonderful devotees of the Lord. The Lord loved to eat from their hand. That is a service that they wanted to do for the Lord. They don't need to compare themselves with probably the Arjuna or the Lakshmana or the Hanuman, right? The Lord, of course, gives mercy to even Sugriva. So whatever is the form of body that they are, you don't need to worry. There is equality when it comes to spiritual life. Everyone is treated very dear to the Lord. Who are more dear to the Lord? Acharyas or the gopis? Yeah. Okay. So again, sensitive topic, right? So Lord will decide. So probably not compare. Why did I tell this? Is all of a sudden, right? I'm just throwing it out. That's because there is no comparison on a spiritual platform. Are we saying that in the spiritual world, gopis are more happy than the acharyas? Or probably when we go back to Swarupa, are we going to be less happy than a person who is personally serving the Lord? No. Correct? It is complete bliss. Whatever is the maximum bliss you can get, you are fully there. So when it comes to spiritual life, it is complete. When you are in the material life, there is discrimination. There is going to be this. It will continue to exist. You can sugarcoat how much ever you want. Okay, you can call a thief in any other way, you can just say that owner of another property in an illegitimate format. You can call a thief that. Fact is, thief is a thief, right? If someone is lower born, if someone does not have a certain quality, certain culture, you have to call it that, and that's what the Shastras keep doing. Okay, does it mean I need to worry? You don't really need to worry. That's why Rancho Prabhu probably very ideally gave these two shlokas together, because the first shloka tells all this discrimination, and even after that, if they surrender, they'll come back. And for a person who is a brahmana or a devotee, what will be their situation? If people who are just surrendered without qualification, they can go back to Godhead, then what will happen to someone who is fully qualified like a brahmana? That's what is the second shloka. We could probably touch upon that in the interest of time, we will touch upon that. It's a nice shloka. Okay. So in the second shloka, what are we saying? Kim Puna Brahmana. How much more this is so for the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. So Krishna just continuing, saying that, look, everyone can come back to me if they surrender to me. And here, what more is required for the devotees, right? So this is an option that we actually have. It is our choice. Okay. Many times we actually tell, mercy of the Lord or the devotional service is coming costless. Is that correct or wrong? Costless mercy. Attaining devotional service is costless. Yes, no, maybe. You agree? A lot of silence. Yes, I mean, coming to Krishna consciousness is a mercy. All of you agree. Right? It's a fundamental thing that we all have to agree. Saying that coming here is very, very simple. We are wonderfully blessed actually by the senior Vaishnavas, by the Acharyas, by the Parampara that's holding on to us, that has given us the mercy to come into Krishna consciousness. Okay, attaining or coming into Krishna consciousness is costless. Advancement in Krishna consciousness is not costless. It is purely your attitude, your endeavor, and your desire. Please understand this. Many times we feel, because we are very fortunate, every day morning, thank you, Guru Maharaj, you have blessed me, I've got my initiation. That mood is very nice. Okay. Yes, Guru Maharaj has given us the mercy. We have got the blessing. We are blessed by the parampara. We are here. But advancement doesn't stop there. Advancement purely depends on what is your attitude. What is that desire that you have? What is the qualification that you want to get, what you have tried to get? Okay. It doesn't stop at just that mercy part. Okay. Like we said, Krishna is partial, impartial. We should be clear with that answer. And we should be clear with that, clear with this as well, saying that mercy is costless for coming into KC. Traveling in KC, it is your endeavor, because it's very easy to get off. Because it came very easily. Many people take it. Chalo chalta hai. Everything can happen easily. Okay, actually, it doesn't happen very easily. And this word, Krishna very clearly says as anityam asukham lokam. Anityam, temporary and miserable. We have used this many times, right? So it says temporary and miserable world. We need to go back to our spiritual world, which is eternal and blissful. Okay. Now we have plenty of options. Prabhupada in the purport and also in the lecture, he actually mentioned there are wonderful opportunities for us. You can be a jnani, you can be a whatever you want. Bhakta also, in bhakti also, we might have other desires. Your desire should be single focus. What is that one desire you should always have? Anything that I do should please Krishna. That is the only desire that I do. That is the only desire. Is my activity pleasing my spiritual master? Very difficult to know if I'm able to please Krishna, but if I'm able to please my spiritual authority, my spiritual master, that desire is enough, because they have the direct contact with Krishna. I probably do not understand what Krishna needs. If my desire is strong, then my path is very, very clear. Okay. So in here we actually will try to conclude it very nicely. Okay? So here, of course, from the purport, we can understand devotional service is the only process to solve all problems of life. If you have problems, do devotional service. If you do not have problems, do devotional service to ensure you don't get it. It's like that nice statement that we keep hearing about preaching. What is preaching? If someone is peaceful, go and disturb him. If someone is disturbed, go and pacify him. That is the preaching activity. Many times philosophy doesn't work. Many times actually, what do the devotees want? What do people, non-devotees want when we are trying to do preaching? We try to tell them that your situation is temporary. If you're very happy, don't worry, it will also go away. So very miserable, don't worry, it will also go away. And that is all we do when we are preaching, right? So like that, devotional service is the solution to all problems that we have. There is nothing else. And what should we do? Ena tena prakarena. Mana Krishna Nivisha. I mean, this is the principle, right? And we used to have that, right? So no Krishna, no peace. There's one more statement, of course, the fundamental principle. One should fix his mind on Krishna by any means. Ena tena prakarena. Somehow or other, just hold on to Krishna's lotus feet. You don't need to worry about it. Your path to spiritual reality is just opens. Okay, just hold on to the lotus feet of the senior Vaishnavas or lotus feet of Krishna. Just hold on to them. Okay, and why are we saying it so confidently? Just ending our discussion. We can probably take some questions depending on time, but we glorify some people. For example, we glorify Vibhishana. Why is Vibhishana glorified? He's a pure devotee, and Vibhishana's position was very unique. He was among all the Rakshasas, right? Everywhere he turns, there's zero association, and there he was able to follow Krishna consciousness. He was a pure devotee of Lord Ram. Okay, that was his unique position. Okay, imagine the position of Srila Prabhupada. Wherever he went, they were completely non-devotees. They had no clue. And Srila Prabhupada somehow made all of them qualified to come. And today they are the best of personalities that we can see around us. Best of personalities. And there is no need to mince our words, right? So when we actually see, I do not have any exposure to Srila Prabhupada directly, only through the books. But when we look at our spiritual masters like Viswanath Jayapatakswami Guru Maharaj or Radhanath Maharaj or other wonderful Maharaj that are there, the way they lead their life, exemplary example, right? And where did they start? For first 18 years of life, how were they? So what birth, what education, what culture, what qualification, what did Srila Prabhupada give them that transformed them? Right, and that is what Srila Prabhupada is giving us. We are so fortunate, so blessed that we are actually in this position. We do not probably understand how fortunate we are. I mean, there is nothing less we can talk about this, right? So we are extremely fortunate because that 0.01% of the entire population that can get this Harinam is us. I don't know how we actually got this mercy, but now that we have got it, it is only left to our desire if we want to hold on to this or let it. And how tightly we want to hold on to it. Many times we take it easily. I mean, this one I'm repeating it, right? I'm repeating it because many times we take it lightly. Chalta hai. That chalta hai attitude as a devotee is very dangerous. Many times, I mean, I curse myself because when in last Sunday's class in the temple, Narayan Patra Prabhu was asking this question: how many of you read Srimad Bhagavatam every day? Lift your hand. And I asked the same question: how many of you read Srimad Bhagavatam every day? And you see, raise of hands. Very nice. See, 4 or 5 people. So I saw Saravanan Prabhu and Aprajit Prabhu were sitting in front of me, both of them raising their hand. I was like, shame, putting my head down because I want to read. But somehow or other, I have an excuse that I can give myself, saying that today I can't read. Today to chalta, I had so much office work, so much strain. There's one IPL match, my son is watching the score. If I don't sit with him, how will he learn IPL? Correct, no, otherwise he'll get exposed to others. I mean, I know so much of cricket, I should give it to him. So many times this happens, that I find it as an excuse not to do devotional service. And there is no one who will probably know your situation better than yourself and Paramatma, will probably not disturb you unless you want to be disturbed, right? So probably concluding it saying that you are your best judge. Do not have excuses because you've got the best wonderful opportunity. Take it up a little more seriously, whatever is your amount of seriousness, because it's a long path.
It's a long path, and it's not, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, we don't have so much of time. We are scared because the very starting we said fear. So end, we can't say that, okay, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, so I'm feared that this life I will go or not go. Prabhupada said you can go back in this lifetime. So let's trust Srila Prabhupada and let's become a little more serious. So let's stop here. We are on time. So anyone has any questions? Any comments on what we discussed?
We talked about reciprocating, right?
Yes.
So, nice comparison is like tuning the radio.
Yes. Yeah, you have the right frequency. If you have the right frequency, you get the right message. Perfect example, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the radio is with everyone, depending on what is your tuning, what is your wavelength that you catch up, you'll get the signal better. That is our choice. See, our free will is only that. The tuning part is our free will, right? And all of us have that choice. No one is forced, because the Lord doesn't want to force us into doing anything spiritually. Materially, there is the karma cycle that will not touch upon. Anyone? Any other questions?
Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya are considered higher classes.
Yes.
Here is considered lower class.
No. So Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are basically Dvijas. Vaishyas are trained. They can be Dvija or they can be Dvijabandhu. So as long as you're in a material situation, see, even your Kshatriyas, see, everyone has that ladder, right? So when you say top class is the Brahmanas, they do certain amount of certain activity. The second shloka basically covers that. Say Brahmanas, Bhaktas, and saintly kings. I didn't want to elaborate on that. So here he's telling Arjuna, see, saintly kings are directly the pass is directly there. The visa is there. For the others, they still have to go because they're Dvijabandhus. They are not Dvijas. Dvijas have that access. Anyone? Any other questions, comments?
And this three are referred to even Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Shriyas, all those three.
Yes. So yeah, the Sri is relatable to what is the class that they get married. So that's a long discussion, but who can get married to whom, that clearly is mentioned in the Shastras, right? So lower class women getting married to higher class men is agreed, but the reverse is not true. Might have seen the example of Muni's daughter getting married to a king. That is actually not the right procedure and so on. So women will be related to the family in which she enters. So she will get that caste. So here Sri is Sri. Sorry? No, he didn't marry. No. Parasar Muni did not marry Satyavati. There is this katha of that the two women, right? So it's in Bhagavatam. No. It's in Bhagavatam. This katha Sharmishta, basically. Thank you, Prabhu. So that's the katha. You can read that. That's a very nice story. So basically, it talks about the concept of getting married, higher class and lower class. Matajis are very silent. Hoping I'm not offending anyone. I try to tell what is my understanding. So if there are no questions, I accept either you have agreed to what is being told or you completely disagree and want to remain silent. So are there any questions online? Can we know or?
And for Shudras, generally they are not given any education. So how they will do this?
Bhakti they will do, Prabhu. So again, if you read the purport, you will understand. So it is purely through association. The Shudra has to have a master. If a master is a devotee, they'll get that quality. Like a woman serving a master, she'll get that quality. Right, so serving her husband or serving her father. So it's the same thing with the Shudra, depending on the master. So they should only have so much education that they can discriminate who's the master, where they're working under. But they're very honest and truthful. So if the higher class of the society are good, the rest of the society is automatically taken care of.
Came down south, and one of the people could not read or write, but he was crying.
Yes, that is in Srirangam. Devotee, he was actually born in a Brahmana family, but he was not well versed in reading Bhagavad Gita. So he saw him crying and he said, "You have understood the message of Bhagavad Gita. You don't need to study." So basically, it's talking about pure devotion. So he is crying about Krishna's position, how merciful he is. So that's the katha. There are no questions, right, Prabhu? Okay, we'll end the class. So we saw in this class, basically we spoke about Krishna in 9:33. He concluded with the words, Vajasyamam, right? Engage in loving service unto me, right? So how do we do this loving service? Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto Madhyajanam. We will hear it in the next class. So this is the conclusion of the 9th chapter. 934 is that Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto. I had prepared for that class where they change the shloka. So we'll actually hear that next time. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. God Premanand.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Thank you all for joining Sunday evening Bhagavad Gita session in the feast program. So let's all thank Sanatana Nitai Prabhu for giving wonderful class on 32 sloka, 9th chapter. By thanking one time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So next Sunday, what festival? So everyone will have festival. So last month, which festival we had? Yes. So we are missing festivals in Corona time. So every month we'll have festivals now. So next week, Ramanavami, fasting till noon. So we'll have celebrations in the center. So we'll have Pushpa Abhishekam, Chappan Bhog offering to the Lord, and so devotees, no, whoever is eligible, they can cook for the Lord, and we have to fast till no. So Ram Navami Mahamahotsav ki jai. Hope you all come and you all bring your neighbors and friends. So June 12th, we have Faniyati festival. One day yatra to Kaveri River, bank of Kaveri River. So please be prepared. June 12th, don't plan anything. So it is yearly once plan. We generally all the devotees from Seshadevaram temple, all the centers people will come. A lot of devotees, around 2,000 devotees will come. So please try to take the association of devotees there. So please don't plan anything when for Paniyati festival. Okay. So today's prasadam sponsored by Sarvan Prabhu for Sri Varshini's birthday. So Prabhu is requesting blessings and prayers of the devotees so that Sri Varshini spiritually grow. So let's all chant one time Hare Krishna for the spiritual growth of their family. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any newcomers today? First timers? Please stand up, Mataji. Ready, come. Please stand up. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, your name? Yes, sir? Kumari. Mataji, name is sir? Spurti. Name is sir, Mataji? Manju. So, please keep coming. You can, if you give your contact, we'll add your WhatsApp group. So, you'll get updates. So, let's all join one time Hare Krishna for their spiritual growth. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now, Nagar Sankirtan will do? Yeah. We'll have a cake cutting for Sri Varshini. After that, we'll do Nagar Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I forgot one more thing. So we'll have is only Jaipadak Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja celebrations. So it is actually on 12th, but we'll do on 10th. So any devotees want to write glorification, they can write, and we can read that day, or we can submit also. So anybody wants to write the glorification, please write it, and we can glorify that day. No? That day, if we time permits, we glorify. Otherwise, we'll submit it to Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Books. Yeah. So we'll donate books also. I mean, on the behalf of Guru Maharaj, you can donate for the books on that day. Anybody want to sponsor, please contact me. Hare Krishna. We will put the message in the group also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.